Welcome to Streaming Deluxe. My name is Mr. Orange, and guys, what the heck is happening with The Quiet Man? Okay, I should talk less loud here. But what is happening with the game The Quiet Man? So the game just came out on the 1st of November, and as you can see, mostly negative reviews on Steam. So what is the game about? The Quiet Man delivers an immersive, story-driven, cinematic action experience, seamlessly blending high-production, live-action, realistic CG and pulse-pounding action gameplay. And if you look here at the trailer, and I would also say, wow, this looks so cool.
Yo! Wrong address, dog! No one ordered no chow!
So that's the live action trailer. So, but he doesn't hear. He's deaf. Square Enix. It comes from Square Enix, so I would say that it comes from some big publisher guy. So that's the guys that bring us Final Fantasy and Life is Strange. No, that's not the gaming graphics, not the CGI, that's the original. The main character looks a bit weird. He has a weird hairstyle. Personal opinion. So, and then she plays some of this. So guys, yeah, what actually happened with this game? So mostly negative. I mean, that's crazy, because this game is like only 13 euros 49 cents. It's the price tag for this game. So full game set of wallpapers you get. So you play as a deaf character, Dane, and experience the world as the character does, with very little distinct audio and no subtitles. It's up to you to make up your own interpretation of the story as you search for the masked man unfolds. The content of this video game is pure fictional, blah blah blah. Subtitles will only appear when spoken dialogue is intended to be heard or understood. Okay, that's already super weird. For narrative purposes, no subtitles will be displayed for most scenes, regardless of the setting. So here guys, you can see again some of the CGI. So that's also not the real gaming graphic. That's also the CGI graphics. And that's the fighting scene. Yeah, that's also CGI graphics, also not the real game. So is this now the real gaming graphics? I don't think so. I think that's also the fighting graphics. So I don't have this game. I didn't play this game yet. Okay, that's the normal. That's the normal graphics, I would say. Yeah, The Quiet Man. My God, I don't get it. So let's read some of the reviews, my friends. So here you see all of those reviews, and there's so many of them are negative. So the first one, Gas Art says, I feel like such a jerk. I hate to leave a negative review. I'm usually the sort of person that if I don't enjoy a product, I simply don't give it a review at all. Okay, well, it was worth saying this, dude. This game is so underwhelming. I mean, it's nice to include a game where the main character is deaf. As far as I'm aware, that's pretty unique, but experiencing FMV where nearly all the spoken dialogue is muted to the player is pretty lackluster. Sorry to the developers, but this experiment simply didn't work. The only positive is that the actual movie sequences are of very high quality. Silent P writes, the combat is so bad that it ruins the whole game. The lack of audio didn't bother me, as I thought the whole concepts are really out there and cool. They're uncool, but the combat overshadows anything positive about the game. Don't pay more than $5 and you might enjoy the game. Feisty Catman writes, so this game is awful, the combat being clunky and hideous in engine cutscenes mixed with beautiful live sections, but I couldn't understand. Well, I lost where was it? Yeah, but I couldn't understand. I really wanted to like this game. I like silent films and think there could be a good silent video game, but as this is it's a video game that decided to remove its sounds or just choose to release in a half-baked state and hide behind artistic meaning when there isn't any to be found without sound. So I am going to get a refund. This game failed in all aspects and I don't want to come back to it in this state and would rather spend my money elsewhere. Then Lauren Renico writes, I hate writing negative reviews. So good cinematics but terrible gameplay, story is too confusing, clunky mechanics, poor camera angles for the combat, a flawed combat system, and cinematics are dragged down due to no audio throughout the game. I'll be nice and compliment the visuals of the cutscenes, which are quite enjoyable to watch, but literally only to watch, nothing to listen to. The developers took a huge risk with making the game through the protagonist's ears and have the player not hear anything, but that isn't an excuse. The whole story itself is also very confusing, and the lack of sound doesn't help it. The transition between film and gameplay was smooth and only once for me. Other than that, it's a clunky mechanic in this game. I feel like if this game took hints from games like such as Late Shift and Quantum Break, it could have really succeeded, but I also don't think that the way in which they did the whole deaf protagonist was good either. The idea was solid, a deaf protagonist is a great idea, but we could still have music. People in the game don't even bother to use sign language, and I feel like since Dane could read lips and understand sign language, that there should have been subtitles as the character we are playing as can understand it. Sign language isn't used at all by character who supposedly know Dane. I feel like scenes where he isn't involved could have had audio to benefit the story, and I don't like the fact that he's somehow the greatest lip reader in the world, and the fact that we aren't even able to hear or told what Dane is saying when he is talking. Absurd. Okay, stopping it. So yeah, so he's mostly complaining about the fact that the character can read sign language and lips, but no one else, the player of the main character can't understand it. So they don't make the transition from the main character of the game to us, the player. So Deliverance, right? Extremely clunky combat. Was hoping for somewhat solid cinematic beat 'em up like the old Square underrated favorite, The Bouncer. Ah yeah, The Bouncer, I remember this. This is not that. The deaf-like muffled audio just means you hear the same soft thud for everything. Punches, people talking, etc. over and over. It gets old quickly. They also don't subtitle scenes when it looks like the main character can either understand the conversation from lip reading, nor when characters who know him use sign language. Missed opportunity. No graphic settings besides low, mid, high, ultra resolution. Okay, it's a console port. I would say no ultra wide support. Console port. There's all yells like console port, my friends. Cerebral, right? Sorry, should have said this. This is quite interesting if you see the trailer. How about the game? My opinion is the game does it support ultra wide resolution? Drop your FPS, okay. Aussie, right? The main menu and settings are limited, similar to the asset flipper scam games here. Also, you can't bind keyed buttons. The combat is extremely clunky, and the stationary camera makes me feel that the game should have been a side-scrolling brawler. After the intro cutscene, there are no subtitles, and you have to use your own interpretation about what the main character is obsessed with. So I conclude here. I resume here what people say. So they say the combat sucks. The main idea behind the game sucks, since you can't really hear what's going on. You can't really hear what's happening. And then they say, yeah, the cinematics are really nice. The graphics for the CGI is really nice, but actually the graphic for the actual game sucks too. So let's say it in a vulgar, easy way. So that's what those people mostly say. So, and then the overall idea might be interesting. It could be cool. It could be interesting, but the execution of the game failed. So what is he writing? Higami writes a positive review. A piece of art. While the combat was very clunky at times, he agrees to this point. The game's narrative made up for that, so he likes the story. It is very interesting how they managed to weave such a story with basically no sound. So other people say again that's something they don't like. So while Morgulis writes, definitely a unique game. It will not be for everyone, and that is simple. Just the simple fact. This is very story driven, and the combat is a little clunky and exciting. However, the artistic concepts are phenomenal and innovative. I think the game is worth the $15. This is by far the most experimental game to be released by a big publisher this year. I have to give it to Square that they greenlit the idea and pulled it through, but I can also see where many people have issues with this title, maybe come back from it unsatisfied. But I will still go on and give it a positive review, because it is a very special game that ran with its idea until the very end and manages to blend the live action and in-engine sequences very well, and I will come back to it when the full picture is being released and consider updating the review accordingly. Okay. Yeah, this one. So Dim Current writes, I'd like to start off by saying that I'm a native New Yorker. Many things gripe me about this game. Stereotypical Latino gangsters with California accents driving pimped out caddies. That ain't a New York thing. The stereotypical black Dracula looking fresh out a Tyler Perry skid. We don't do that here. Either typical emo edgelord protagonist that looks like a Williamsburg gentrifier. Add in the thing with the raven mask and I put money on it, you'll be at max cringe. Damsel in distress, everyone magically knowing martial arts, and you're gonna tell me this lady needs help. Horrible acting sticking out even harder because everyone is silent. Plot seemingly written by M. Night Shyamalan. Not sure how I thought in a... is it written by Night Shyamalan, the guy who makes terrible movies? I think, yeah. I fought in before a train station teleporter coming up the stairs all the way to 1470 in Harlem, but I'll excuse that. Now onward to mechanical issues with this game. I own a... Okay, well, difficult to read. Difficult to read review, my friend. So, some pictures, yeah. Check out the Steam page. So, I recommend you check out maybe some Let's Plays if you fancy buying this game. So it's €13.49, $15. So that's the price tag. I would say it's not that expensive for a big publisher movie like game. So, but if it's really sucks because you can't really understand what's going on in the game, then might not be worth it. So, first impressions. How on earth is Human Head still in business after the storm? First impressions. So, Human Head. They have a dreadful back catalogue of games, with the exception of Prey. The sequel to Prey looked interesting, but as we all know, it was cancelled and eventually replaced with Arcane's classic title instead. Prey, Arcane's game, was my game of the year. They made a decent title in their entire 18 years history. So he's talking about Human Head Studios. Those are the developers. So they... What else did they... Yeah... I don't think they made Just Cause, actually. I don't think they know. That's Avalanche Studios, as we all know, obviously, my friend. So yeah, it's very difficult to find out what Human Head Studios has made now here on Steam. So guys, I'm leaving it here. I think I hope you enjoyed my little tour about the Quiet Man trademark. Tian. So on Steam page, where you see at the moment mostly negative reviews. So yeah, I mean, it's just how it is. So Steam is unforgiving. Steam is unforgiving. So if people don't like the game, they destroy it. So mostly negative reviews. And yeah, 30 positive, 67 negative. So, but make up your own mind. That's always very important. I hope you enjoyed this little check of the Steam store page of the Quiet Man. Haven't played it yet. Will I play it in the future? I have no idea. Maybe someone gives it for free to me, then I'm going to play it. Otherwise, I leave it here for me. That's it. It's a game that fancied me too. First I saw it, but reading all these negative reviews, I'm not so interested anymore to play it, but only being interested to play it to find out how bad it really is. So that's it. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a great day.